Hey guys, and welcome. In today's video, we're going to be looking at my 5 favourite and least favourite things about Total War Warhammer 3. So let's start with the 5 positives. Number 1 is going to be the art design, and as far as art design, I mean the concept art, the unit design, the sync animations, the lot. It is such a beautiful game in almost every single way, and I absolutely adore it. I think it is far better than the previous Game 2, and I think actually probably the best art design for any Total War game so far. You can see they've learned from what they did in Troy, which had some beautiful scenery, particularly in the skies and the way their map was concerned, and the fact that we're dealing with the Chaos Realms here has really allowed the arts team to go absolutely wild. The sync animations are pretty damn good fun. I would like 1 or 2 more in there, but it's always good to see these large, crazy monsters going up against each other in a big fisticuff kind of Godzilla-style fight, and the voice acting is beautiful as always. Total War in general are known for good voice acting, but whoever did the horrors went absolutely berserk and obviously had a great time. So all round, as far as the art design goes, I think it is a certainly 10 out of 10. I've been lucky enough as well to receive one of the limited edition art books showcasing all the art, and you can see, I don't know what it is about concept art. I've been a big fan of the Mandalorian TV show where they show concept art at the end of their episodes. It's just really cool to look at in general, and I do think the fact Kislev and Cathay were relatively untouched by Games Workshop in the past, as well as, of course, the demons being so wild and wacky, it just gave the artists a lot of free reign, as well as the people who designed the units and models. And this leads well into my second good point, and that is going to be the maps. The maps in general, I think, are quite a lot more fun than maps in previous Total War games, and this leans heavily, again, into the fact that we're dealing with the Chaos Realms, and stuff can be so wacky and wild, but at the same time, thematic and fun. Quest maps in particular in campaign are gorgeous. There's one map where it's such a weird, array of these slopes and mountains and so on, and I looked at the mini-map and it was the Korn logo, and there was a giant demonic worm popping out the middle, which was live animated and moving around. It just really does allow you to immerse yourself in the action a little bit more than previous games did. So moving creatures on the maps is certainly something that I've been a big fan of, and hopefully we get to see in the future. There's quite a lot of variety on maps as well. And, being the fact Grand Cathay is so different, for example, from the realms of Tzeentch and Kislev and so forth. And something else I've really enjoyed is actually the Domination Maps. I think the design on them has been well thought out and well done. There's different levels to the map, some high ground, some low ground, nice room for flanking, nice places for choke points as well. It just gives a lot more variety to the gameplay that you can bring to the action. Now, I would like to see some more Domination Maps. There's not that many in the pool at the moment, but the fact they thought into them quite a lot. Some maps you have a home objective, some maps you have contested objectives, and it gives a little bit different every time you hop on a different map in that game mode. Up next, one of my favorite things about this game in general is Domination Mode. Boy oh boy, was it such a nice breath of fresh air to myself playing this kind of competitive game mode. And the thing I like about Domination Mode the most, which is rather, regardless if you like the mode or dislike the mode, the fact they're willing to try new stuff for multiplayer is massive, and I want to encourage this as much as physically possible. Every Total War game, give us a new mode, give us something different to try, and some of them will stick, some of them won't, but the fact that we have now the choice to play more game modes really is a bit of a joy to behold. Of course, we still have siege battles and ambush battles and so on, but this is another good mode that we can bring into competitive and have for tournaments. It takes away so many of the problems which kind of killed my fun of Game 2 towards the latter stages of the run of that game, as far as just, people kite drawing. Also, the ranked system where you blind pick now is far better as well than how you used to do it on the ladder system in Warhammer 2. So all those things rolled into one. Domination Mode, it's a nice breath of fresh air, it's good fun for tournaments, it's perfect for tournament hosts as well, and I think it gives quite a new dynamic to Total War multiplayer in general. Plus, you still have land battles, so it's this almost added bonus, which you are not really paying for there, so which is quite nice. And up finally, my on to my fourth point here is going to be the prologue. The prologue to the campaign. I'm a multiplayer player in general, so I don't play that much campaign, but of course I wanted to sink my teeth into this game a little bit, and I thought the prologue was far and away better than any previous Total War's prologue. It was like playing a mini campaign, but alongside that I had a fantastic story. In fact, a good enough story that could have been a main campaign kind of linchpin for these campaigns. But also the fact it led into the main game was really nice. And I know a lot of people think prologues are relatively slow and not necessarily the most fun to play, but you got to realize a lot of people out there aren't Total War Warhammer veterans, and it is a difficult game to pick up and play for the first time. And I wish I had a prologue like this when I first started getting into the game. Big fan of the main characters in this as well. Again, the acting, the artwork, and the general big quest battles of this prologue were a lot of fun. But the fact that it just leads so nicely into the main campaign to get people playing that, I think, is certainly a big plus for the series. And I hope in the future they continue go along with this style of prologue in a more storytelling way, rather than just like, hey, here's a battle, you left-click this unit, you right-click there, go into the world and explore. I know some people prefer that, but personally, I thought this prologue was quite good fun. And my fifth point here, and final good point of the video, is the multiplayer campaigns. Once again, I'm not a big campaign player. I'm far more kind of happy in my multiplayer realms, but the multiplayer campaigns is one of those things which actually really get me involved, wanting to play more campaigns. Now, the fact that you can have these huge kind of groups of players playing the game is fantastic, but more so for me personally, someone who doesn't have the most amount of time, and organizing stuff with friends, of course, as you get older and older, does become harder and harder. So the fact you can do these mini campaigns now, which can be done in one evening, is amazing. It is such a blessing and really allows you to chill out with your bros and sink your teeth into some more glorious campaigns. So smaller campaigns in general, I'm always a big fan of. I think they're done far better here than they were originally done, for example, in the Wood Elves on Beastmen campaigns, the mini ones of them that were released with their DLCs so many moons ago in the original Total War Warhammer. My God, that was some years ago. I remember playing that as well. And these ones are done much better, and the fact you can now have so many of your friends playing at the same time is, of course, great. As well as, now that I think about it, I was just about to end that point there, but the fact you can do simultaneous turns adds, one, a layer of complexity, because there's a lot of timing involved. You wait for your opponent to move his army away, then you jump on top of him and ambush him, or jump and take his settlement and so forth. It also speeds stuff up a lot, because, of course, campaigns can be relatively slow, particularly with that many people in there. So this game is a fantastic base in general. Total War Warhammer 3 has the potential, in my opinion, to be far better than Game 2. However, there's a lot of problems as well that need to be solved, and that's when we get to my 5 least favourite things about the game. So here we go with the 5 bad points. Number 1, bugs. Bugs everywhere. I can feel them crawling over my skin. Get them off, get them off, get them off. There is a lot of bugs in this game, which is quite problematic. Now, I haven't kind of come into as many bugs as a lot of people seem to have from reviews on Steam and so forth. I don't know if that's just I have a decent PC and it cancels out a lot of those bugs, or the fact I don't play a super amount of campaign where there is probably quite a few, but I have suffered from the dreaded bugs as well. Game crashes are really prevalent and annoying as well, particularly when you're trying to record yourself playing. You have to kind of open the game multiple times. Units not following commands super easily, which I think may actually be a bit more of the fact that units are so much larger now that units get caught up amongst each other quite easily. We've also had bugs, for example, when my lord just floats to the edge of the map and there's nothing I can do to control him. Same with soul grinders, and also textural differences and so forth, and the game can bug out as well, including lobbies closing. Now, they fixed a lot of these problems, and it is again something which I think won't hurt Total War Warhammer 3 in the long run once the bugs do get sorted out. But I know cavalry's bugged, chariots are bugged, there is quite a few things in there. Point number 2, now this is something that I expected coming into the game, and once again something which I think will in the long term be fixed, but it is going to be the lack of factions and units. I am blessed by the fact that I came into Total War Warhammer 2 in about the midway stage. There already was a bucket ton of factions, a bucket ton of DLCs, and I could sink my teeth into so much in one go. And it's quite daunting, there's a lot to learn, but at the same time, your excitement continues to grow. We're at the moment, of course, with a rather limited amount of factions. Now, is this the game's fault? Absolutely not. This was to be expected, and more factions will be getting brought in, as well as the Warhammer 2 and Warhammer 1 factions as we go. But is it still a problem? 100%. It's a lot less interesting to watch, corn-faced Kislev over and over and over again. Whereas if you have more factions, a little bit more variety, keeps the juices flowing, and allows to have it a bit more replayability as well. This is probably also follows over to campaign, but for my player experience, I do look at the factions and think, oh, I've played you all quite a bit. I would like to play some Lizardmen right now, and unfortunately we can't. I'm sure this will be hopefully implemented soon, like a big kind of immortal empires, and we get these factions in the game. I'm certainly looking forward to that. Point number 3 is how the game has split the community. So, in particular the multiplayer community as well, I should probably highlight. And that comes down to one of my main good points, was domination mode. Something I love has split the community in half. Half the people love domination, half the people love land battles, and often they don't like the other one either, which obviously is quite problematic for me as a YouTuber, but also finding games and so on. Now, there's a few ways you could sort this out. You could have a second quick battle system for land battles, for example, which certainly it could help out, and just keep ranked on domination. But it is kind of what it is. Like, the fact the community is split in two, I don't really know what Creative Assembly can do about this. It's going to be quite tough. Now, I know they are making changes to domination to have the starting armies a little bit larger, so it may feel quite a bit more like land battles, and hopefully that will be able to bridge the gap. I can say as a tournament host, domination mode is an absolute blessing, but I understand people like, you know, people who've been playing Total War for a long time want to just play Total War. They don't want any changes, don't want anything new, want to keep the game the same, though it's a kind of a difficult balancing act, stopping yourself from stagnating. But the way it spread the community, of course, does hurt everyone involved, which is pretty sad, and also puts a lot of people off playing the game. Up next, we do have a point number 4, I believe, for the negative stuff about Warhammer 3 so far, and that is no roadmap. Now, this is something I do expect to see in the future once more, and the majority of the problems I've actually listed here are stuff that I expect to be fixed or coming out, or the problems that will be getting stopped with patches and DLCs and all that kind of stuff. But no roadmap really does hurt quite a bit. Not knowing where we're going or where we're heading can be a little bit painful, as it leaves people bewildered of, hey, when are we going to be getting into other factions? You know, when are we going to be getting DLC? What's the general plan as a whole? Now, I understand possibly why there is no roadmap after what happened with the Three Kingdoms kind of promising DLCs and them never arriving and so on. So there is, you know, a reason maybe we don't want a roadmap, because they're not 100% sure what they'll be able to stick to yet and so on, in which case I don't want to rush them, and I don't think it's a necessity, but it would be lovely to see what the aim is and overall goal for the game, and going into the future what we can expect to enjoy. And last point, number 5, is a bit weird because it's not particularly about the game in general, but it is people hating me for enjoying the game. And you'd be surprised at the amount of people who really care that I enjoy this game and do not like it that much at all. I've had comments of people claiming I am paid by CA to only say good stuff about the game. People telling me I'm an entitled YouTuber for playing the game in early access, and I'm only saying it's good because of that, and so on and so on, and the dribble continues. And it is honestly really annoying. I am not paid by anyone to do anything. I just enjoy Total War Warhammer 3. I understand that people don't enjoy it. If people enjoy historic games, if people just don't enjoy it compared to Warhammer 2, that is absolutely fine. Likewise, I don't care what you guys, you know, if you enjoy it, if you don't enjoy it, I'd obviously rather have more people enjoy it, because it's cool to share stuff with, you know, your people who are on YouTube and just friends in general. I'd rather everyone enjoys the game, but if they don't, that is absolutely fine, and that is their opinion. Likewise, I'm still having a load of fun on the game, though I am eagerly waiting for new factions, particularly so I can play my Lizardmen again. So that'd be my point number 5. People hating me for enjoying this game. That's just a good, fun game all around. Definitely not perfect, but all round, I think it is certainly a decent start to life of Total War Warhammer 3, and hopefully it is going to be paving the way for greatness in the future. Hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, peace, and as always, stay forth.